plus 7,000. Head coach Bill Belichick will have another opportunity to work his magic in the 2023 NFL Draft with New England's 11 selections. We have some friends here once again. Bart Scott, I'm going to ask you this. What is the Patriots' ceiling, in your opinion?
After years and years of being tormented by the New England Patriots, I take no pleasure in saying this. I think their ceiling is pick 16th in the NFL Draft. This is the first time where, listen, life after a Hall of Fame generational talent is always hard, and everybody within the division had to deal with it. Tom Brady tormented this division year after year after year, and now I feel like the Patriots are where the Spurs were after Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard left. I think they're searching for an identity. They always had the best coaches, had their players prepared for the situations. They had the most versatile players, guys that can do everything. Now it's different, and now they have the fourth best quarterback within the division. Life after Jim Kelly wasn't so pretty. You know, the Jets are still trying to find out and figure out life after Joe Namath. That wasn't pretty. The Dolphins think maybe they finally have a answer, but it's a lot more questions with life after Dan Marino. Welcome to the party, Patriots. You're normal just like the rest of us. And I understand the last 25 years, but it reminds me of when, the great Emmanuel Lewis, the crunk trainer, was training Emmanuel Lewis. He was training, I lost my thought, Lennox Lewis, and he's fighting Mike Tyson. And he said, don't you realize that's a dead man in front of you? This isn't the Patriots of old. This is the big bad wolf. Number 12 isn't there to save the day. It's nothing to fear but fear itself. And I think the rest of the division has realized that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Bart. I mean, 2 years ago, they get Mac Jones. And Mac Jones, Bill puts together a year where they go to the playoffs with Mac Jones. They don't succeed in the playoffs by far, but still, it's a playoff appearance. Okay, last year there was a lot of problems in terms of that offensive unit, especially a young quarterback in Mac Jones, looking to see who the lead voice is. Was it one of three guys? Is it Judge? Is it Patricia? Belichick coming in, giving in his 2 cents. There was too many voices, okay? Now that's cleaned up because last year that was a wash, basically, because of some of the decisions that Bill made himself, all right? This year, Bill O'Brien's back in, and there's a little bit more structure for that offensive unit in terms of this is the voice that I have now. There's Bill O'Brien. He's our offensive coordinator, and he'll tell Bill, like, I got this, man. We don't need all of the meddling. That's what Bill O'Brien will bring. I think the ceiling for the Patriots this year is the playoffs. There were 4 teams last year that won only 9 games, but still they were in the playoffs in the NFC and the AFC. Can the Patriots, go 9-8? Can Mac Jones have a very improved year with more structure for a young quarterback? I believe so. I mean, usually it's championship perspective in terms of looking at the New England Patriots, but that's changed. And you're right, Bart. That is pretty much over because, the Joe Burrow in the Bengals, Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs, who in their own division with the Buffalo Bills are, with Josh Allen. That's the big 3 in the AFC, if you ask me. And if they complete the Aaron Rodgers deal in New York, there's another championship contender in the New York Jets. They can contend for the division against the Bills, if you ask me, with the defense that they have. So can the Patriots be trying to scrap and claw for 9 wins when it comes late December or late, week 16, week 17? I think it's possible. I think my expectations for Mac Jones are very high this year for him to have a bounce back year compared to the way he looked last year. So the ceiling, I think, is a playoff appearance for the Patriots, but it'd still be, a positive season that I think they can get.
Okay, Tedy, I want to ask you this. What did you think of Coach Belichick's comments?
Refer to 25 years, it caught me off guard. I laughed, and it also caught me off guard because it's not consistent with the message that he's given to the organization himself. To players himself when you're in the locker room and you're in the team meeting room and he says, I don't care what you did in the past when you're in the very first meeting for a new season, Super Bowl or playoffs or All-Pro or Pro Bowl or leading the league and whatever. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. class, and that's who I know him to be. And so maybe that reaction that I have right now is basically the fault of Bill Belichick because he taught me too well. This is the way I see it, that even holding accountable your head coach to the message that he tries to portray publicly to Mike Reese asked that question, and Mike Reese is a reporter for ESPN that is always just looking for positivity and hope to give the fans, and you want to reflect on 25 years. It's something I definitely, if I saw Bill in the locker room and I walked by him and I joke with him about, and I'd say, 25 years, huh? Are we talking about 25 years now? So hopefully someone can sort of tell him that. I'm not in there anymore. I only can tell them through this venue here, but definitely off message if you're a former Bill Belichick player like I am.
Tedy, what I've always appreciated about the Patriots, how fluid the organization was. They've showed us different ways how to win championships, 2 tight ends, receivers, great defense, run game, and it seems like Bill has always had the answers. How important is this year for Mac Jones, and should they be in the running for Lamar Jackson? Not this year, but next year, as you heard Tannenbaum say, that he expects maybe this to happen the same way, because Meek Millie told Kraft that he should go out and get Lamar Action Jackson.
I know, I saw that. And you know this just like me, that quarterbacks are sensitive people. And so you've got a quarterback, and you sort of played with his mind a little bit last year in Mac Jones. And I've already expressed to you how I feel, how Mac Jones can be so much better than he was last year. You want to throw this in the mix because, I mean, if you go for Mac Jones, I mean, he's got to be in the deal, right? I mean, you can't keep Mac Jones and have Lamar Jackson. It'd be Mac Jones, it'd be a #1 overall pick, and you're trying to start all over again.
All right, NFL GMs have been shaping their rosters for next season since the start of the new league year, but the job isn't done yet. Several NFL teams still have over $20 million at their disposal to make potential franchise-altering moves. Tedy Bruschi also joining myself and Bart Scott. Tedy, I'm going to start with you on this one. Which teams should make a big push for Lamar?
I see the Colts sitting there, Christine, and I think, do they need a quarterback? Yes. Are they, tired of going through the rotating door that is the quarterback, and he's old and all of a sudden he can't play anymore? I think it's time for them to actually make a move and go for Lamar Jackson. The one thing is this, do you have an owner that has the guts to go out there and make the deal? And somewhat upset the membership, as they call it, in terms of all the NFL owners, in terms of giving Lamar Jackson a heavily guaranteed money deal. That's Jim Irsay, in my opinion. So you've got the owner, you've got the situation. I think the Colts are a good place for Lamar to land.
I think the perfect place is a team that I believe will be the Philadelphia Eagles of the NFC. I think the Detroit Lions, and they have the ammunition. They have the roster. Look what they've done. Their Achilles heel was their inability to stop people. In free agency, they go out and they get Gardner Johnson, right? They get Cameron Sutton. They've shored up. They have 2 first-round draft picks because of the Matthew Stafford trade. This would be the most explosive player that they've had since Barry Sanders, right? I know Calvin Johnson was, everything in Megatron, but Lamar Jackson, as far as the wow factor, selling tickets, a fan base that has been, tortured. I'm from there. My dad hasn't had a great Thanksgiving since I was like 5 years old because they lose every day on Turkey Day. That dessert always sucks by the time we get to it. You talk about the best offensive line, potentially. You talk about the best offensive line in football with the Lions. You talk about, I believe, the perfect blend between running the ball and throwing the ball when you think about their offensive philosophy and how that offense. You talk about Jameson Williamson coming back, St. Brown, Swift. They have weapons galore. They can put up points with anybody. You add Action Jackson, and you still can probably get a 3rd or 4th for Goff, who I think acquitted great of himself. And also because they can move down, they have 6. And you heard Tannenbaum talk about Hooker, right? That means that 6 is probably going to be quarterback still available. So I look at teams like the Washington Commanders that may want to move up and the Lions can drop down and they can get their future first-round draft pick because of the compensation to move from 16 to 6 to get a guy like maybe Anthony Richardson. You think about a team at 19 like Tampa that may give up next year's first-round draft pick, so then you can offer that, to the Baltimore Ravens to get Lamar Jackson and still have a first-round draft pick to add to a team that's prime and ready. I think the Detroit Lions is ready to take over that division. I think they're the best team within that division, and they're just getting started. And they have $20 million in draft cap space because they've done a great job in drafting young talent, and it's cheap right now.
Yeah, and I think teams, I actually like that, Bart. I mean, man, the Lions, that would be something else. I think teams are going to be sitting on their hands for the next couple weeks. And whenever teams start to make these moves, it's because that draft is coming. That draft gets closer, and then you start to feel that time where the teams start telling you the truth again based on their actions. Come draft time, there's going to be a lot of Lamar Jackson talk, I think.
Yeah, you talk about Tampa Bay going with Baker Mayfield. They have an opportunity to have Baker Mayfield for a bridge for 1 year, but they can move up to get a guy like Anthony Richardson or maybe Hendon Hooker. Or Will Levis. Somebody's going to fall. With Hendon Hooker added to the mix, that just adds 6 quarterbacks. I believe that puts the Lions at prime real estate at 6 to move down and get somebody's future first-round draft pick for next year and still have 2 first-round draft picks this year, one to offer to the Ravens this year, one to offer to them the next year. And it's about time in the Motor City they get an engine. They've had a beautiful car. They ain't had an engine a long time. It is nothing like a Ferrari engine in Action Jackson.
Nothing to add there, Tedy? All right. I want to ask you this because earlier Adam Schefter said that there was a soft market for Lamar Jackson. What do you think is a better move? Do you think it's better for them to draft a quarterback, or would it be better for them to go for Lamar Jackson?
Let's see. Drafted quarterbacks. Recent years, Sam Darnold on his 3rd team, Zach Wilson, sent to the kids' table. Baker Mayfield on his 4th team or 3rd team in the last season. Mm-hmm. Marcus Mariota, he's where's Marcus Mariota? Josh Rosen has been on a milk carton. Josh Rosen is still getting mail in 8 different addresses right now. I don't know where Josh Rosen is, right? So you talk about, okay, just because you pick a guy early, he's supposed to be a worldly talent, it doesn't always translate to success.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.